And welcome back. It's the Vegas Veteran Voices podcast, where we're here to share real stories of real vets making big waves right here in the 702. We're going to welcome Sarah Morgan Fox, the owner of Effin Eggs here in Las Vegas. We're going to dive into it. Here we go.
Okay. Hi, Sarah. Thank you so much for having me here.
Of course.
Where are we right now? Tell me a little about this place.
So this is Effin Egg. I started this journey about a year ago. We started our build out in September, and then we officially opened a week ago.
A week ago?
Mm-hmm.
And how has it been since the rollout? How are things going?
Our weekends are really busy, but
love to hear
I was going to say weekdays have been a little slow. It's graduation, end of school year. I mean, I think that it's going to pick up with the summer. But It's been a little bit slow this week.
Especially with the schools like right over here, you get the kids like walking over. And...
Especially when the Peaceway Bridge is done.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. Do you know about how long until that bridge is done?
I think they have 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
How are they going to get that all done then? Like, there's so much to do left on that.
I think it's pretty much done. Honestly, I think just the size.
It feels like it's been going pretty quick, but at the same time, every time I drive past, there's still that little bit of congestion, that little bit of traffic. But I mean, our state flower is what?
The traffic cone.
The traffic cone.
Yeah,
Exactly. So before we dive too deep into the restaurant, we're going to go talk all about that, about how you're a female restaurant owner. You're a female Army Reserves. You are a female boss bitch. You are in here, you're doing the thing, and you're making this happen. You've built this from the ground up, and you've had some help with the community throughout the way. And then it's not just yourself, it's a village. So we're going to dive into that, kind of get a little bit of the picture. But why don't you take me back to the beginning? Why the Army Reserves out of all the branches? Why that?
So I actually joined to pay off my college. I had a college roommate, and she was Air Force Reserves. I didn't really even know that Reserves was a thing. So I was trying to actually play the Air Force versus the Army because they had signing bonuses for, Reserve units. But Air Force doesn't give signing bonuses. So I was trying to convince the Air Force to basically give me a signing bonus. And they didn't. Yeah. So I got into the Army Reserves.
I mean, that's the thing. The Air Force kind of has that motto, we're better than you. Not really, but...
I mean, every branch is good, but we all like to talk crap on each other. So I was trying to play the contract against each other because I had a high ASVAB score. So I was trying to see what branch would offer me more, which one had more kickbacks, which one had more signing bonuses, which one would give me the job that I wanted, stuff like that.
Perfect. And then you ended up in the Army in petroleum. How did you feel about that at first? Was that your first choice?
So I actually got played myself by a recruiter. The Army base that was right next to the college that I was going to was a medical unit. And I was going for a bachelor's in exercise science. And there weren't any medic spots open at the time. I wanted to go as a medic. He told me the only spot open was a fueler. And if I got in there, that I could lateral over or they could double slot me once I got in there, and that they would take care of me as one of their own. That was a lie. I was the only fueler for our entire battalion, so our unit and our 3 sister units. So I did not get to leave that spot for 6 years.
Oh, and that's the thing, too, with units like that. They do help you out because you're embracing the suck. You're in it, and it's a whole thing. And being the only fueler, that sounds like you were doing a lot.
I was constantly tasked out.
And so you finally were able to transition over to medical. How did you do that? What was that bridge you had to jump over that you got across and allowed you to do what you tried to do?
So my 6-year contract ended. I took a year of IRR, so inactive ready reserves. And then I came back in and was put into a spot that I thought I was going to enjoy, and COVID hit. So I sat for a while. They weren't reclassing anyone that wasn't medical. I was going for interrogation, which is a 35 mic. It sounded really cool, all the psych evaluations, and then I got into it, and people started talking about how they basically lived in a dark basement for 2 weeks, and they couldn't come out, and they couldn't have social media, and that they couldn't say their real names. And then it was a lot more paperwork than I'd realized. And COVID lifted. I didn't have enough time on my contract. So they wanted me to re-sign for at least a year minimum. And I said no. because I did not want to do it because it was terrible.
Yeah.
I applaud the people that do want to do it, but it's just not for me.
It sounds really secret spy-ish.
Kind of. But I went back to my original MOS for those last couple months while I found a medical unit that would take me on.
Oh, perfect.
And then got into the Nellis Air Force Base that has, a great medical unit up there.
So we're going to talk a little bit about how you ended up at Nellis here in a moment. But what I really want to dive into is you're an E6, Army Reserves.
Yes.
What has that taught you about leadership that you didn't know before your service?
It's something that I knew before my service, but I think I've learned a lot more of is just the humility of constantly putting yourself on the soldier's level and never putting yourself above them. My biggest thing in life is that I always want everyone to succeed. So I think trying to gain every single individual's perspective, because reserve is technically, they say only 1 weekend a month, but it's not. No. I have a handful of my own soldiers, and you're constantly trying to factor in their outside life into the military unit. And so you have to factor in kids, you have to factor in their jobs, you have to factor in what's best for them, their financial standing. And I think not only the diversity, but like I said, the humility, because there isn't necessarily one way that's above another. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that totally makes sense, because every single person is their own human being. They all have their schedules. One person's kids may go to one school and one may go to another school. And to kind of coordinate that all together, it is its own song and dance. And to be able to do that while also opening up and owning your own restaurant really speaks to your level of leadership. It really does.
Thank you.
So one last thing about your military experience. You're a reservist.
Yes. What
is a common misconception that civilians have about reservists? Go.
That it's only 1 weekend a month. It is never just 1 weekend a month. Like I said, it plays into your everyday life, especially when you do start making rank and you do hit E5 and above. I get phone calls, I get texts every day, I get questions about different gear, I get questions about different things that they're doing, I get questions about just life problems, because they do become like your trauma bonded family, I guess you could say.
Oh yeah.
So it's never just 1 weekend a month, ever. And I think civilians forget that, because especially being from a pick-off unit where we're tasked out all the time, I have tons of friends and tons of family that are like, oh, well, I thought it was only 1 weekend a month. When we fill in for a lot of other spots that active duty lack on, whether they have schools they have to go to, whether it's overseas and they don't have the manpower, whether it's, especially being a medical unit, teaching basic lifesaver classes to other units, teaching care under fire classes to other units. It's never just 1 weekend a month. I think the year that, I know the year that my husband and I got engaged, I was gone for 9 months out of that year. I was between Japan, California, North Dakota, and Seattle.
And out of those spots, which one was your favorite?
Japan. Hands down. Yeah. Hands down Japan.
What did you like about Japan?
Just the people, the humility, the culture, the cleanliness, the education level. They're a different breed. They're very, very genuine culture. And they definitely look after their own, is what I liked. But also their transit is amazing.
Oh, I love it.
It makes it easy to see the culture and, like I said, embrace the culture.
Did you do the pass or did you do the Suica?
I did the pass.
The pass? What's that like? I've never did the pass. I always just loaded up my Suica card, tapped it, and went.
It's the same.
The same?
Yeah, it's the same. It's just, it's like Apple versus Android.
Oh, okay.
They're the same. They're literally identical.
What was that? Passmo? Okay.
Yep.
So you grew up in Kansas?
Yes, Overland Park, Kansas.
How did you ever imagine yourself moving to Las Vegas when you were younger?
No, not at all.
What brought you to Vegas? Tell me a little bit about that. Tell me that story.
So from Kansas, I moved to Washington State. When the downfall in 2008 hit, my dad had changed jobs and they moved to a place called Walla Walla, Washington. Very small town. And I ended up graduating high school a year early. So I only went to high school for 3 years. I wasn't going to do my senior year in a town that was 30,000 and that I knew nobody. And I literally had one computer class left to do, so I did it as a night class. And then age of consent is 17 in Kansas. So I'd already signed up for college courses, and then I had a friend that I basically just rented under her as a tenant. 2 years later, I moved up there, ended up doing my bachelor's up there, did half of my master's up there, Well, I did my whole master's up there. And then I had a friend that she and her husband were having to move down here. He got stationed at Nellis. She'd asked me to help them move. So I came down here, helped them move. And literally at the tail end of us moving here, I had never visited Vegas. I just was like, that's cool. We'll make a road trip out of it. She and I drove separate from her husband. We took a week and we literally, not backpacked, but we hiked almost every national park from Washington State down to Vegas.
Oh, that's so cool.
With a U-Haul and then just tents out of the back. We just slept in RV parking. And so camped everywhere on the way down. Got down here, helped her unpack. And then her question was, I have no friends. Since you're done with your schooling and since you're only Army Reserve, will you stay? And I was like, well, I don't know what to say to that. I was like, if I find a job in 2 weeks, then I'll stay. Because I'd worked in bars and restaurants starting at the age of 15.
Mm-hmm.
So I genuinely looked and I found a job literally within a week. And I was like, well, crap. So I was like, I'll stay for 6 months. And I ended up meeting my husband, who was born and raised here. And we now have a house. We have a restaurant. I'm stationed out here. He's born and raised. His family's born and raised. I am never leaving this place. Literally stuck here.
And that's the thing. For as much as you love food, I'm sure you realize that Vegas is the spot for food. There's a little bit of everything. Whenever you have a craving, it's probably only 10 minutes away at most.
Exactly. I love food. So
working in bars and restaurants from the age of 15, what's something that taught you that you didn't learn in school?
I hate to say that I don't value school. I value school very highly. My mom was a teacher, but I feel like a lot of schools nowadays are conformed to the factory worker aspect. They're not meant to be high-paced, quick on your feet thinking outside your own box and I don't want to say diversified, but they're meant to teach you factory worker skills. They're rather outdated. Working in bars and restaurants, again, you learn a lot of the diversity. It's a very fast-paced, quick learner thinking that you have to think outside the box, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
That's fair.
So it taught me a lot of outside skills, not only in how do I handle a situation, but it also teaches you how to budget your finances, when you're doing the cash register or you're looking at the check and trying to figure out financial wise, it teaches you finances, but it also teaches you outside of the box thinking, because it's never going to be the same dress. Yeah. You're an accountant. This is the situation. Here's the math. Here's the answer. It's a lot of fly by the seat of your pants. And
it really teaches you a lot about people too, because I did a little stint, this makes me feel old, 12 years ago, Outback Steakhouse. And those 6 months that I spent there, because I was doing contract jobs in between, I learned so much about people in that little stint than I did my entire life.
Yeah. I was going to say, waiting tables taught me a lot. Bartending taught me a lot.
Oh, I bet.
Bartending and working the beer cart at a golf course taught me so much about people. You become people's therapy, you become people's release. You're basically a therapist. I say that hairstylists and bartenders are some of the biggest therapists you'll ever meet, because you get those people that come in that are regulars that are sitting there with you hours on end, and they tell you their whole life story. They tell you every single problem, and then they don't always want you to fix it, but they want you to listen or give them advice.
Well, there's no secrets at Liquid Lunch.
Yeah, this is true. This is very true. Exactly.
Fun stuff.
No, I just constantly am squirrel.
Life's more fun when it's a little bit chaotic and all over the place.
Could you please tell my husband that? Because he would beg to differ.
That's the thing. If I know exactly what I'm going to do day in and day out, clock a punch every single day, and it's exactly the same, I would pull my hair out. I could never do Excel spreadsheets and stuff like that.
Oh, see, I geek out on Excel spreadsheets.
All day long, every day, though, and that's be the only thing. No. I've thought about it, when I was thinking about what I want to do for my career, everyone was like, oh, you should do accounting because you're good with numbers. And I'm like, I would rather shave my head. Yes.
Yeah. I can't sit in a cubicle all day or sit at a desk all day. I would lose my mind. I can't. Again, I applaud the people that can. I cannot.
So, Vegas. Yes. First impressions, what was it? You've just moved here. Go.
honestly, there's a lot more outdoorsy stuff to do than I had thought.
Oh, yeah.
Which is great because I'm extremely outdoorsy and I thought I would hate it. I thought it was just basically the misconception, like everyone sees, is the strip and partying and lots of clubs, which, I mean, I did like the whole party club for the first week and then I was like, all right, cool, we're done. And then I realized how much more there was to Vegas.
Yeah.
And I actually oddly fell in love with it, other than the summers and the heat. I could deal without that, but I think everyone could.
Well, the nice thing about Nevada, that not a lot of states are like this. BLM, free reign. Go have fun, go explore.
But it's also, I mean, anything that you want to do, whether it's the beach, whether it's the mountains, everything's within like a 5-hour drive. So even if it's just a weekend trip, everything is close.
Like if we left here right now, we could be in LA before dinner time.
Which is very nice.
Same with San Diego too. Like I didn't realize how close San Diego was.
Same distance as LA, basically.
Yeah. Just a little bit less traffic, but not a lot less.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what made Vegas feel like home and you can't say your husband?
That's a hard one because I wasn't going to stay. I came down here, I was going to make money. I bought a house. I was going to basically gut it and make it a rental. And then meeting my husband, yes. But I think because he's born and raised here, the village that he's built, and the amount of people that we have that constantly support us, and just having that support. Yes, so not necessarily my husband, but the village that he has nicely built that became very homey. So it wasn't just, like I said, just the parties or just the onesie twosies here and there. It was a genuine, deep-rooted village.
I love to hear that. Because that's the thing, too, is like it does take a village, whether it's starting a restaurant, starting a family, buying a house. Like there's so many things where you need that community. Do you have pets?
Yes.
Tell me about this dog.
So I had a dog before my husband and I got together, and then he was 13, he passed. But when he was 11, my husband and I went to get another dog because he was getting older, wanted another dog for him. And we'd picked out 3 dogs that we thought were great fits. One we found out was an only female dog house, and one did not like him. My dog did not like the other dog at all. His name was Apollo. And as we're walking out, I mean, my little pompous lab pit who had a hip that was wired in and a knee that was soldered in because he was hit by a drunk driver. So he got this little swagger, and he was as wide as he was long, which was just genetic wise. He licks the only kennel with a puppy in it. And I was like, please tell me you're joking. This dog is dead asleep, back to the freaking like rest of the world. She had just been fixed. And I was like, you guys said there were no puppies left, right? Like all the puppies are accounted for because we were both busy. We're both working full-time jobs. And we wanted a dog that was potty trained, that we didn't have to do like the teething amount, something that was 2 or older. And this is the only puppy left in the whole adoption agency. And so I'm like, I was like, she's already spoken for, right? And the lady was like, well, someone put a deposit on her, but they never came back. And I was like,
that makes it harder because you can't leave her there then.
I know. I was like, can we see whatever this dog is? I have no idea what she is. And they knew she was Weimaraner. So her mom and her whole litter was surrendered. I guess the guy that was breeding, circumstances happened that his buddy ended up having to surrender the litter for them. And so they said she was Weimaraner, and then they think she's some sort of mixed shepherd. She's brindle. So if I had to guess, it's Dutch shepherd. We've never had her tested. But she comes in, she licks Apollo's face, and then she lays down on his like feet, and he just licks the top of her head and looks at us. And I was like, shit. I was like, I think we got a puppy.
It sounds like they were in on it together. That was a plot.
Probably, honestly, if I had to guess. But we get her. And then like a week goes by and he wanted like nothing to do with her. He was like, oh, I thought this was like a plaything. Like I didn't think we were like keeping whatever this is. And keep in mind, he's 11 at the time. She's 6 months. So all the energy in the world. Fast forward 2 years. Like I said, he was 13. He passed. And she had never been an only dog. So she'd been with her litter. She'd been with her foster. And then she was an only dog all of a sudden. She did not do well as an only dog. She literally would not get out of bed. She wouldn't eat. She didn't want to do anything. And so my husband and I were like, we have to get another dog. Like, we're not ready for another dog. We have to get another dog. It was the year that we were getting married. And so we're like, we're going to wait because for our honeymoon, we decided to backpack Bali. So we backpacked Bali for a month. But I was like, I'm not going to get a dog, which our big thing is adopting. And so I was like, I'm not going to adopt a dog that's already traumatized and then leave it for a month. Like, that's terrible. So we're like, we'll wait. Well, drunkenness in Bali on the beach. We were like, this dog's perfect. And it was more than literally adopting a kid. So you had to do a background check. You had to have 3 references. And then they came and did a home visit to make sure that your home was okay. And then they brought the dog at a later time for like an hour play date. Zoe is our dog's name. She and Olly hit it off really, really well. And he was so skittish. He had been left on the side of the road. He was super skinny. He was super beaten, afraid of everything, like literally afraid of his own shadow. So we made everything into a game. So like shaker bottles, we would shake them all down his back. When I used my face wipes to wash my face in the morning, like wiping my face and like getting him all excited. So like I dab his face. Well, fast forward, it's been a year and a half now we've had Olly, and he thinks everything is a game. He's 85 pounds of straight muscle. He's long, he's lean. He thinks he's a lap dog. He never got the chance to be a puppy. So he thinks he's just this 6-month-old tiny little puppy that can sit on your lap or run around everywhere. And he's neurotic, literally neurotic. The most he gets is he gets timeouts in like the hall bathroom and he gets the lights shut off. And this is probably so mean to say, but dogs don't understand it. They think you're playing a game with them. Yeah. So I intentionally will play with the squeaky toys with the other dog outside of it. And so the other dog knows that they're in trouble because they don't get to play. And they both are the same. They hear the Alexa timer go off and it's just like this small little, and they're like, my time is up. Let me out of timeout. But it's made him so neurotic, which has now made her neurotic. And so now I just have 2 wild banshees that have been adopted and are whack jobs.
You just love a little chaos at home?
Yeah. We're not worthy of dogs. 1,000% not worthy of dogs. But. So
you mentioned a little bit off camera about going from restaurants to security. Why don't you tell me a little bit about the security?
So I actually got into private high-end security and got my private investigator license a couple years ago. My master sergeant at my unit, he's also my first sergeant, has become a very, very good friend of mine. And he has worked with a company, I don't know how many years now. I want to say going on 20 years. Don't take my word for that. I'm not 100%. But he hires out medics a lot of times. And since I've been a medic, he likes, the whole company is either prior military or prior police. And the medics do even better because then we still have our concealed carry. Well, most people. I have my concealed carry. Yeah. And then I also have my medic. So it gives me that added bonus with it. And I started out by working a CES event. Loved it. Went on to work a couple different events, a couple different things with private high-end clients where they either just need like drivers or they have people that are working on their multi-million-dollar houses that they basically need someone to just watch the workers in their house and make sure nothing grows legs and walks away. So little gigs like that here and there that, I mean, I enjoyed, and I got to meet a lot of different people in the process and network with a lot of people. I got to go to a lot of cool events that I enjoy. So I got into it mostly because of him. I thought it was going to be a one-off as like a medic job, and it did not. And I ended up liking it a lot more than I thought I would.
So how did security turn into this cheesy little brunch spot right here? Because I know it's connected. Why don't you tell me a little bit about how that all came together? So
I actually used to drive a client around, and he and some buddies were drinking, gambling. A bunch of his buddies wanted to go out clubbing afterwards, so ended up getting set up with a limo, getting them to basically go on their way. Went to take him home and drop him off. We go outside, and I can't see him. I was like, are you drunk? Did you get lost somewhere? I'm like, where did you go? And I go over to the other side of the car because a lot of clients, I will say, they don't like the special treatment is what they call it. They don't like the door opening. They don't like, it's basically get in like, I'm just a normal person, let's go. And so I'm like looking for him, like, is he drunk and he just went to like gamble more? Like, did he decide he doesn't want to leave? I'm like, I have no idea. I go on the other side of the car, and he actually had coded. Did CPR on him. Fire department got there. They shocked him. He came back. They shocked him again. And come to find out he has AFib. It's genetic. He just happened to get it sooner than family members that had it. So luckily saved his life, which is a crazy thing because, I mean, I've been working as a medic for a while, but I've never like done anything on a friend of mine or someone that I knew personally, per se. And I worked admitting in an ER for 2 years and hadn't done live CPR. I've done a lot of other things. I've never done live CPR. I've trained for it multiple times. But so did that, continued working for him for another year and just constantly would joke because I got to know him on a very personal level.
Oh, yeah.
He constantly would ask, like, if you could do anything in your life, what would you do? And I was like, oh, I've always wanted to own my own restaurant. Like, I worked in bars and restaurants. So I was like, but I'm going to go back to school for nursing. Like, civilian-wise, you can't do much with being a medic that you can with military.
Right.
I was like, it doesn't do anything for me. I was like, I'm just going to go back to school for nursing. And after about a year of joking about, like, basically he would talk about stuff and I'd be like, I don't know, well, you could just own an Effin Egg. And he's like, yeah, okay. Well, out of the blue one day, he's like, screw it, let's do it. I was like, okay. I was like, are you just joking with me now? Like, are you just giving me a hard time? And he said, no, let's figure out the financials. Let's figure out what, like, backing that you need to get it going. Let's figure out a time frame as to, like, how long you have to pay it back. Let's figure out a percentage that's fair for both of us. And let's do it. He's like, I want nothing to do with it. This is what I can contribute. And if you can make it worth that, he's like, then let's do it. And so I went home, talked to my husband about it. We talked about it literally every single day for like a week.
Oh, I bet.
And I was like, do I drop out of nursing school? Like, is this just a fluke? Like, is this guy just yanking my chain? Like, is it like, I didn't know how to really go about it and if I was going to do it or not. And I was like, it's also super risky. Like, nursing is guaranteed. I know that I could get a job with it. I was like, opening a restaurant is terrifying and I've never owned a restaurant. And my husband's response was, nursing school will always be there.
Yes.
This opportunity will not. So decided to take a leap on it. And like I said, we took over this space in June of last year. And then September started our build out. And then we had a few pushbacks with the health department because love them. Now have 4 hand sinks for 1,200 square foot space. But it took a little longer than expected. And then finally opened last week.
So what was the main thing that made you confident enough to drop out of nursing school and be like, I'm all in, let's go?
Oh, I'm still not confident, honestly. It's just the fact that I have had friends at a very young age pass away unexpectedly, and that life is too short. So why not at least try?
Of course.
Because if you don't try, you're never going to know.
Yeah.
But no, I'm still terrified.
Well, that's the thing. You need to chase your passions, especially because you do have that angel investor. And that's what he is. He's helping to fund your dream. And funding your dream sounds like that's his dream. And that it all ties together. It takes a village. It takes a whole community. And
I'm very, very blessed in that aspect. Okay.
Because Vegas is very tight-knit and their foodies love to support local. And this is, even though it is a smaller franchise, this has your heart and soul in it. So look it up at this menu right here. Why don't you tell me what your favorite addition here that is not a part of Effin Egg as a franchise?
This is going to sound weird, but I honestly think the kids menu.
The kids menu?
Just the kids menu in general. That's my additive, and it sounds weird, but it's part of including everybody in it. I know a lot of places don't include kids menus. I also don't put an age cap on the kids menu because I want everyone to feel included, whether they're elderly and they only eat small portions or people that do eat less. And so I added that because I wanted everyone to feel included. Same with the lighter fares, because I know it's not supposed to be a whole health nut place, but at least having something on the menu for everyone. Yeah. So I guess that would probably be, sounds really cheesy. But
no, that's totally good because this is a fast casual place, and I'm sure there's people that come in and they're coming in a group. You have a little bit of an appetite. You have people that have a lot of appetite. Everyone has their own vibe, their own style, and having that to adapt to other people, that's good. Yeah. Like that shows that you're about the community. You're about everything with that. So I'm trying to sneak in there so I can ask you what is in that spicy bacon brisket burrito so
Absolutely
I can
not.
know. Come on.
Absolutely not.
What
Spicy
makes it so
bacon
special?
Brisket is what is in it.
What makes it so special?
It's made with love. That's what makes it special.
I thought I had you there for a second.
No.
So, talking with a couple people before coming in here, I heard the cinnamon rolls are the fan favorite. Why?
So we make our cinnamon rolls a little different. We actually deep fry our cinnamon rolls. And so the outside comes out more like a churro, and then the inside is still doughy like a cinnamon roll.
Oh, that's so cool. Do you ever sneak on them and
every single
hide
day.
it?
Every single day. I was going to say we have to let them sit to be a certain temperature. And once you let them sit to be a certain temperature, you can't refrigerate them.
Oh, yeah.
There's always one or two that are left over. So I don't like wasting them.
Yeah.
I mean, we never want them to go to waste, right? So I eat one almost every day. It's terrible.
I mean, that's the thing. When you indulge in your own product and get high on your own supply, you know your stuff is good.
Well, okay, this is probably super random, but when I was a kid, I named my inner fat demon. His name is Charles. And my mom still jokes to this day because I'll be on like a health nut kick and she'll be like, oh, I wasn't asking if you were hungry. Is Charles hungry? And so it's been the running joke in my family ever since I was a kid. So all of my staff now knows about Charles. So they now come to me and they're like, does Charles want a cinnamon roll today? And I'm like, of course Charles wants a cinnamon roll. Like, Charles is hungry. So it's kind of the running joke.
And you let your staff in on that little story and little secret?
I did. It slipped to one person and then I kind of just continued to slip. My manager's been a friend of mine for about 5 years now, so it just kind of went there.
Whoopsies.
Yeah.
Alice in Wonderland. Why?
So when I looked into Effin Egg, the first thing that came to mind was Humpty Dumpty. I don't know why, but he did. And then it kind of branched off from Humpty Dumpty, which then plays into Alice in Wonderland. And I mean, I will say Potheads Welcome, which is our slogan for the coffee pot, plays into it. So that plays into the teapot. And then it makes me think of like the Queen and the tea party that they're having, which I am not an artist. I can see A and I can see C. My husband hates it because we've now gutted an entire house. We're on to our second home. And I'm already looking at things to rearrange. He does not see them. He can build. He's great at building. He's been in construction since he was born. But I saw the A, and then I drew it up, and it was my little clip art and my chicken scratch, and I showed it to him, and he's like, okay, I need to have a couple drinks, and then you're going to explain this again because I have no idea what you're saying. And lo and behold, a couple hours later, he looked at it, and he's like, totally get it now. Weird, but I get it. Still didn't fully see the vision. I gave it to my artist, which I had a local artist. His name is Miguel Hernandez. Come in. He did a lot of stuff with Zappo Sundown in the Arts District. Worked very, very closely with Tony Shea before he had passed. And then when Tony passed, he took a step back. He is good friends with one of my very close friends. And she had brought his name up when I was looking for an artist. And I was like, I hadn't even thought of asking him. I didn't know if he was really painting again. So I brought it up to him to ask if he was interested in kind of going back into the art world. And he said he was. Showed him my picture while my husband was there. And he's like, oh, I got it. I fully understand. My husband was like, you understand this? This chicken scratch? He's like, I 100% get it. And so, I mean, he saw all the visions that I saw and then some, which is amazing. But came in here and painted every single thing that I saw in my head and then some, which is, it's perfect.
And that's the thing too. I think it not only tells a story of this is a warm, inviting breakfast spot, but the vibe I get is characters welcome. I'm not trying to, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that because I know that's trademarked.
No.
But let your freak flag fly a little bit because this is home and you can find your own little slice of weird in these eggs. Yeah,
I was going to say, the thing is, it's meant to be fun. It's meant to be inviting. There's actually, I don't know if you have seen any, Miguel was amazing. He hid 10 literal eggs within the paintings. So there are eggs hidden throughout this entire place. So it's meant to be fun. It's meant to be lighthearted. It's meant to be a game. I've found like 6. He's come in here a couple times and he just watches me look around for them. And I'm like, I still can't find all 10. And he's like, there's 10. He's like, you just don't know where they are yet. And it's, like I said, it's meant to be playful. It's meant to be exciting. It's meant to be youthful, but yet like those kids' cartoons that slide like a little bit of adult innuendo in it. So it makes it fun for all ages. But it's bright, it's light, it's airy. It's something that incorporates the food into the Alice in Wonderland theme.
Love to hear that. What is something on the menu that you wish that more people didn't sleep on and needs to be known about?
Okay, so I'm pretty basic sometimes, and I actually love our boring burrito. My staff makes fun of me, but I think that it kind of gets it down to the nitty-gritty. It's the basics. I mean, it's eggs, cheese, tater tots, the tortilla, and then one of our special sauces.
Yeah.
So all of our sauces are made in-home and from scratch. That's kind of our unique thing.
Yeah.
And I just like that it brings out the flavor of the sauce, and it's not overpowering. It's not, I mean, all of our sandwiches are great.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like the foundation of a lot of the sandwiches.
Let the sauce tell the story. So why is made to order so important?
So it puts a little, it sounds cheesy again, but it puts a little love within it. Like everything is made fresh to order. You're not just getting some fast food sandwich that was put together 5 hours ago that's been kept in a heater all day. You're literally getting eggs made the second that you order them. You're getting bacon that's fried the second that you order it. All the stuff is made fresh in-house, and then it's put in containers to go. So that way we know people have busy lives. We know people have places to go, things to do. We're one of the bigger restaurants of the franchise.
Yeah.
A lot of them don't even have places to sit. I wanted something that allowed for people to sit and enjoy the atmosphere and drink a coffee while they waited for their sandwiches rather than just having to stand around. So again, kind of that inviting space. That's why I added the espresso bar. A lot of the franchises just have drip coffee.
Yeah.
I feel like you won't survive in Vegas if you don't have espresso. Vegas runs on caffeine and alcohol. I mean, let's be honest. So I chose caffeine. But I wanted something that allowed them to sit and enjoy, whether it's 2, 5, maybe 10 minutes of their day while they're waiting for their sandwich, but it's still being made fresh and to incorporate their busy lives.
I mean, that takes it from the next level. Like, yes, this is fast casual, but it's please come in and stay a while. Enjoy your time. Bring your family, friends. Let's have fun. Make it a party type vibe.
Yeah. We just wanted to know that Marines are welcome here too. Lots of crayons.
Well, do you offer crayons?
No.
You don't have them for kids, like drawing? That would be a cool little addition if you had like a little coloring sheet with like outlines of these characters so that kids could color. I'll let you have that little piece for free. And then you could like put them up on the wall a little bit. People love to showcase their kids' art.
The only thing I thought of putting on the wall is somebody had brought to me the aspect of the giving tree. Have you heard of that before in restaurants?
I have, yes.
So somebody brought that aspect to me, and I was like, I had never heard of it, and I love that idea. I'm just trying to find out somewhere that I could put it.
That's a hard one.
I think probably behind the counter, because I don't want people just walking up and like swiping them off. Or, I mean, kids are kids.
Yeah.
I can't put it behind us. Behind us is technically the photo op wall. So that's where you can actually cheers the rabbit.
Oh, that's so
And then
cool.
if you stand at this angle, then it looks like he's pouring. You can either have it look like it's pouring into your mouth, or you can have it look like it's pouring into your cup. So it's a photo op wall.
That just shows the love and care that your artist put into all this. Like he thought of everything when kind of placing this out. Because when you look around, everything looks super planned out and like it tells a story and it all flows together.
Yeah. I'm gonna say I came up with the designs, and then he, like I said, hand painted from primary colors everything, but he also chose the walls to put them on and how he wanted to do them. At some point, if you go into the bathroom and look, it's its own little Alice in Wonderland hole. It's great. It's my favorite spot. But he did everything that I wanted, and then he actually designed the Mad Hatter behind us. So that one's his design completely.
That's so cool.
Yeah. He did good.
So restaurants, their community. This is love. My first love growing up was food. And food for me is not just something to nourish myself. It's to enjoy myself, but also it adds to that positivity and mental health thing. Like I can't eat like a dog every day. Like I know there's some people that go to the gym every day and all they eat is rice and chicken and that's it. Yeah. But what does Effin Eggs say to you about community and mental health and how it brings everything together?
I'll be honest. So growing up, my mom's biggest love language was food. I remember many, many, many times there were always muffins in the house. There was always brownies in the house. Like we always had something. We had a garage code, but every single one of our friends knew the garage code. And we had a couple friends that their parents were pro athlete coaches and stuff like that. And so they weren't allowed to have things at home. And so they'd come to our house and they would I can't tell you how many times you'd walk down to the kitchen and my mom would be like, do you have enough to make brownies? Do you have enough to make cookies? Like, it was just very, very community oriented because everybody hung out at our house and everybody always made sweets at our house. So it's probably why I'm such an athlete now, because I just have to work out because I love sweets, which is probably the biggest one. I love like salty food, but I love sweets. Yeah. But it just was a way of bringing people together and making them feel accepted, because I feel like with food, people don't judge. As weird as that sounds. But it was a very, very big staple in my household, especially growing up in a Jewish household. I mean, Jewish families and Jewish holidays are huge, and food always brings you together. So it's a big thing.
Well, food is community.
Yes, 100%.
It's a lot of people's love language.
100%. Yeah.
So what was your earliest memory of food kind of bringing everyone together?
Being young and having my mom bake cookies and brownies and everybody coming to our house. We lived right down the street from the elementary school, like literally 4 houses down from the elementary school. So like I said, everyone after school would always come to our house and bake. That's why I love baking. Love baking. Yeah.
And then a year from now down the road, where do you see Effin Eggs?
I mean, I'm hoping that we flourish and grow. I know that Vegas is a hefty food market, and so I'm taking it with a grain of salt. I would love to long-term, I guess I can't really say within 1 year, because I feel like that's such a short-term goal. Yeah. But within the next 10 years, I want to have 6 hard spaces and at least 2 food trucks. I was going to say 2 food trucks so that it can at least go, like, whether we park outside the base on the way for people to go in and grab food on their way to go to work, or outside of elementary schools for field day or for big events with some of these conventions, having that capability to be out there. We do offer catering, but it's still very new. We haven't fully crossed that bridge yet, but I think food trucks is the way to go, and then get your name out there with all the hard spaces.
I mean, with fast casual, you're making up the rules as you go. You can make it however you want to. One final thing that we're going to touch on is, what is something that food heals that nothing else can?
That's a hard one. I don't know if it necessarily, I mean, it doesn't heal, but I feel like it masks some of the pain that you're in at that moment, and it kind of gives you that, I guess, eye within the storm. So it gives you that calm for that moment to kind of regroup. I don't necessarily think it heals anything, but I think it brings you together, whether it brings you to see friends and family, to sit down and like have that ability to talk with friends and family, or talk with friends, or to take a breath of fresh air, because I mean, food feeds the soul. So it gives you that tiny little glimpse of solidarity and peace to kind of, you're not judged, it just is. I don't know how to explain it.
That's a perfect way to say it. Like, that sounds like it comes from the heart. Is there anything I didn't touch on that you really want to talk about?
Probably the franchise and how it came about. I learned about it, like I said, a few years ago, and I researched it a lot. The franchise owner, his name is Jeff Martin, and he's actually from Kansas City, of all places, where I'm from, just down the road, basically. And he started bakeries when he was 18 with his last few dollars. Everybody said that cupcakes would never sell for $3. And they did. And then he went up on Cupcake Wars, and he became so well known that basically got him to be the king of cupcakes, is what they called him. He opened over 200 bakeries between the US, Saudi Arabia, and then Dubai. And then he got bought out by a bigger subsidiary and is now just more of a managing partner. But he saw it in his heart that during COVID, he's like, well, there's a need for fast casual food that's made from scratch, because people aren't eating in restaurants, but people don't want to necessarily go eat just fast food junk. So that's where this idea came from, is he wanted people to have that ability during COVID when there wasn't a real niche for it yet. So he started these, and they have 12 open right now. I believe they have 14, if I'm not mistaken, set to open within the next year and a half.
They're making moves.
They are. A lot of them are just, like I said, grab and go or walk up areas. And so they're quick. But he is one of the most humble people I've met. I can call him or text him any time of day, and he'll answer my phone call, or he'll call me back, or he'll text me back. It could be literally 2 a.m. my time, which is 5 a.m. his time, or like 2 a.m. his time and 11 o'clock my time. And he will get a text back to me within an hour usually. So he's super willing to help. He's super willing to accommodate. He made me feel like a friend opening it. So I didn't feel like I was working for a boss, which is why I liked this franchise so much.
Yeah.
He also gave me the ability to be free with my designs and my artwork. He allowed me to add to the menu as long as I just don't take away from his basic items.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it gave me the foundation of a franchise and a good footing to start with, but it also gave me the freedom to be my own. And so it's a huge thing for me.
So a week in, if someone's watching this and they're like, I think I could open up a restaurant, what is one piece of advice you would give them to close out?
Do your research. Find someone great to work for, because that's going to be a make or break. If you get into a franchise, it's going to be a make or break, but do your research. It's definitely, this is my first restaurant that I've ever owned, and we're definitely jumping into the deep end. It's absolutely doable, but you got to have the grit and you got to stick it out for a while, because it's a whirlwind.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me. Effin Eggs, come check us out. They're right here. What's your address?
So we are 4555 South Fort Apache Rd, Suite 122, and that's Las Vegas, Nevada 89147.
Love it. Cool.